Kadama, your moderator this morning from Purposeful Aging team. And we have other people, Christina Kadama and Philippa Makanga, to help us run the session. Once again, good morning, old adults, all our loving caregivers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. It's a session to do with exercise, as I'll introduce later on. Just a little background about this session. Purposeful Aging team warmly welcomes all of you. The team recognizes that aging naturally brings about changes in our bodies. This includes reduced muscle mass, decreased bone density, and decline in flexibility and balance. We find ourselves falling unnecessarily or unexpectedly. While these changes are inevitable, they can be effectively managed through appropriate exercise routine. Regular physical activity not only helps to control weight and manage chronic conditions like painful joints, diabetes, and heart disease, but also improves strength, mobility, and independence. I think each old adult here present know very well that we need to keep moving and moving and moving. This is very good for us. It ensures our independence. This is the essence of aging purposefully, leading an active life, a fulfilling life as we grow older. It is important to approach fitness with safety, adaptability, and personal needs in mind. This morning we are privileged and honored to have a remarkable individual whose insights will greatly enrich our understanding and our understanding of managing weight and physical fitness as we age. I'm privileged once again to introduce Wasswa Matovu Collins. And I can see him on screen. Mr. Wasswa Wasswa Matovu, you're most welcome. To say more about the Mlongo, he is aged 68 years, so he's an old adult like me. His profession basically is a retired accountant. He's an accountant, now retired. He has put on new tires. Currently, he's a swim trainer. He's a founder and CEO of Malta Swim Club. He's a founder and CEO of Faces of Change. This is a volunteer organization supporting children with cancer and also their caregivers. He's a member of the Uganda Cancer Institute Biosafety Committee. He's a patron and chair of the Board of Trustees for Nabumali Old Students Association. He's a former chairperson of the School Management Committee at Wampeo Day and Boarding School. This is a school in proximity of Kampala. Omlongo Wasswa Matovu Collins embodies the spirit of purposeful aging through his active and meaningful engagements in community leadership, fitness, and caregiving. He's literally purposeful aging in itself. Before I bring in Wasswa Matovu, I'll just do a bit of housekeeping and also let him know who we are a little bit. Mulongo Wasswa Matovu, you're most welcome. Today, you join a diverse audience of older adults, caregivers, and other participants committed to intentional aging. They are eager to hear and learn from you, from your rich experience over your 68 years. This session is usually interactive, with participants sharing thoughts and questions via the chat room, and a dedicated 30 minutes of Q&A at the end of your presentation. Members, to ensure that we have a seamless experience, we ask that participants keep their microphones muted as long as you are not the one presenting or contributing. And in case you want to contribute something, you raise your virtual hand or write in the chat box, then you'll get all the attention of everybody online. Omlongo Wasswa Matovu, once again, good morning. We are now 35 of us online, and you have the next 30, 45 minutes to talk to us about your experience. You're most welcome. Can unmute and talk to us. Omlongo, please unmute and talk to us. That's it. You're ready now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction, Dr. Christine. I was saying that surely I am a senior citizen. I think I am 2 years away from reaching the 7th floor. I believe most of our audience is around the same age, and I hope we shall be able to follow each other properly. I don't think we have many young people in this audience. Maybe you could advise on that one.
Sometimes we have people in around 40, 50, and 70 whom you may want to call young. These are our caregivers, our children, our support, and we also have young ones who do take care of older adults 24-hour basis. They are all below, many of them are below 70, but they do want to age purposefully, so everything is okay.
Okay, that's very good, because quite often people start trying to work on their weight and exercising at a much later stage, but it is good if they start at an earlier age when the bodies are still strong. So I hope they will benefit out of this interaction we are going to have for the next maybe 45 minutes or so.
Very well.
The main theme of our interaction this morning is about weight and exercise and aging. I think there are three really in one: aging, weight, and exercise. For the much younger group, the 40s and below, they still have a lot of time to start the exercises. But for the benefit of those people who are 60 and above, they just have to listen in and see where from they can begin the exercising. However, before we go into the weight and the exercising, Dr. Christine, you'll agree with me that many things begin in our minds. You'll find a 40-year-old thinking that they're too old to start exercising. 50-year-old thinking they're too old to start exercising. So I believe that we can do our exercises as early as 35 for the so-called adults, but then for the seniors, we still go ahead and do our exercises. So it is our minds that really control our aging and how we exercise. So we need to open up the minds and agree that much as we are in the advanced ages, we need the bodies to be active. Once the mind agrees that you're going to be active, definitely you will be able to do exercises. However, it depends on what type of exercise you're going to do and at what age. Dr. Christine, you'll agree with me that when we go past 55, the protection between our joints, I don't know the medical term, but those fluid protections between the joints become more fragile. So we do less hard on-land exercises. And the best exercise for anybody 55 and above would be probably walking, and don't laugh, swimming. Because with swimming, your joints don't interact with the hard surface. So the body will always remain flexible. However, if you can't learn swimming, then the best one would be walking. Real walking, not running, not jogging, but walking. We must do purposeful walking on a daily. If you don't have space where to walk from, then it would be good to walk in the compound so that we keep exercising both the joints and the muscles. I would like to emphasize that the best way to gain in these exercises is to have groups of people. It's very difficult to walk alone and gain in the exercise. But when you are in numbers, it becomes much easier, it becomes fun, and yet you are really exercising. So what do we do? It will be good for us to form groups of people depending on where we are and see that, okay, every morning or every other morning, we meet at, say, Dr. Christian's place, and we purpose to walk maybe half a kilometer. And then you go on increasing the distance slowly as the body goes on adjusting to the exercise. When you've just begun the exercise, don't overwork your body. We need the body to get endurance by starting slowly, maybe half a kilometer. The next time you charge yourself to a kilometer, then to a kilometer and a half, until you can walk maybe 3 kilometers without feeling so tired. The body adjusts as we walk. And as we do our exercises, it is important to note that we should avoid in between eating as we exercise. It is highly recommended that as you do the exercise, you keep on rehydrating by either drinking water or drinking juice. If you are diabetic, stay to water. If you're not diabetic, it's okay to drink juice which has got sugar. I know most times the medical fraternity tell us that sugar gets a little bad at a certain age. But if you're exercising and you're utilizing all the sugar you're putting into the body, personally, I think it is okay. However, for the aged group, you need to keep checking your sugar levels to make sure that you don't put too much sugar in your body as you continue exercising. So, rehydration as you do exercise is important. Those of us who exercise in water also rehydrate. As we swim every 500 meters, you drink half a liter of water to make sure that the water you lose as you swim gets back into the body. So rehydration is very important as we do our exercises. As we exercise, we need to mind the types of food we eat, especially as we grow older. Many people in our communities have two major problems. What we call good food is people eat chips, they eat chicken, they eat a lot of eggs, they eat beef, and we forget our traditional local foods that are not problematic to our bodies. So the type of food we eat as we work on the weight, as we exercise also matters a lot. We shouldn't eat too much of beef, too much of fried items. We reduce the fries as much as possible. Get back to our greens and probably yams. Yams are very good for somebody who is trying to control weight and sugar levels. I don't know what the English name is for the yellowish white yams. Probably Dr. Christina will help us to find out that name. Endagu. Endagu has plenty of, I think, zinc and fiber, which I think is quite good for people who are exercising and who are elderly. So we need to mind the types of food we eat as we control our weight and as we do exercises. We got a belief that somebody who is fat is well off. But I can confidently tell you that weight is one of the biggest problems we have in our health. If you're already overweight or if your weight is beyond normal, then definitely you'll need the exercise. You may not be able to lose the weight, but at least you'll be helping your heart to manage the weight of your body. I hope that one is clear. I wanted to talk about the types of exercises other than walking. If you think you can get into a nice swimsuit, regardless of age, I know Christine will laugh. The best exercise for us would be swimming because it works on the mental, it works on the body. Because you cannot swim if your mind has not accepted, you will never float. So mental health is quite important as we do our exercises to help our bodies move nicely. The other issue that will help us to do exercises is to make sure that we have some reasonable finances, because if you are going to work out in groups, it will mean investing into what we are doing. So as we retire into old age, make sure that you can afford to keep some finances that will help you to contribute into the groupages where we go into doing our exercises. It's important as we exercise to expand our social groups, the social groups with a purpose, not just the social groups of the phones, but our groups where we collect as either as members who went into the same school, members who work in the same area, or members who are in a similar profession. Many times you find that the people who would be guiding us into these exercises, the medics, are the biggest culprits of not doing exercises, because they find themselves working on so many patients. By the time they reach home, their bodies are just too tired to do any exercise. But we need to remember that the bodies belong to us. So if you get too tired and you can't exercise, and at one point you find yourself collapsing because we are helping so many patients, and that one becomes another problem. As we exercise our bodies, we need to exercise our minds. It's important that you don't have an idle mind because you have aged. We need to open up to, when you wake up, you should have purpose. When you wake up, what do you want to do to yourself? What do you want to do to help people around you? What do you want to do to awaken your mind? Once the mind sleeps, honestly, the body will sleep. And once the body sleeps, the body will, you'll put on weight. So we need to have active minds as we prepare ourselves whenever we're going to do exercise. You cannot do exercise when your mind is boggled up. So it is important that we find what we are going to do as we wake up in the morning. And to the elderly, it would be important to get a social class which is much younger than you, that will keep you lively. We have a problem of consoling ourselves that, oh, me, I'm old, I'll go and look for my fellow elder people. But they keep us away from being active. When you engage yourself with people who are much younger than you, it helps you to look for the exercise that they are doing. So try as much as possible to engage with an age group that is slightly younger than what you are, so that they can challenge you. They challenge both the body and the mind, so that we do not have idle minds as we agree that we are all getting old. Rightly so, Dr. Christine said that it's a natural phenomena that as we get older in age, the bodies become weak. But it is up to us, the owners of the bodies, to lighten the muscles as much as possible. Once the body muscles become idle, you become a problem to yourself, become a problem to your caregivers, become a problem to everybody around you. So we need to try to move as much as possible so that we keep the muscles and the joints active. We need to overcome the syndrome of saying that, oh, now I am old, who will see me walking on the road? But you should stop thinking of who looks at you. Look at yourself as an individual, so that you help the body to be alive. The more lively you are in yourself as an individual, the better for people who are helping you. If you've got a home with some gardening opportunity, it is advisable to do that light gardening, plant flowers, plant tomatoes around the house in sacks, so that when you wake up in the morning, you're looking at doing something with yourself, not with the house help, not with the shamba boy, but your personal activity into the small gardens that we can put around our houses. Having a garden does not require you to go to a full acre. You can have 20 sacks of tomatoes and you grow them around your house, so that in the morning when you wake up, you say, okay, I'm going to water my tomatoes. I'm going to water my biringanya. I'm going to water my entula, so that the body is active and the mind is active. When and how do we do the exercises? The best times to exercise our bodies are early morning before the sun is too hot, probably between 6 and 8 o'clock. Because when it becomes very hot, then we lose out, we dehydrate at a faster rate. And because our bodies are already fragile, we will not be able to do the proper exercises. If you can't exercise in the early morning, then it is better after the sun has set. You start your walk from, say, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you walk for an hour. As I said earlier, it is important to start slowly. Don't overwork your body when you're just beginning to exercise. We should have what I would call a sense of or a purpose of our exercise. If we are going to move or to do exercise, we must know, why are we exercising? I would strongly advise that after the age of, when you clock 60, you should exercise not for competition, but for being healthy. In most exercise activities, probably on the road, you should definitely avoid any running exercise on the road. You should never ever compete in a running exercise. It's not for the ages of 60 and above. The only sport, I think, where you can do some competitive activity is in water, where they call the master swimmers. Because there you can go as adults and you swim for that purpose of having the fun and doing the exercise. But all other exercises, which are on-land exercises, will damage your joints and will damage your muscles, because now they are fragile. I would advise the people in that age group, of the age bracket of 60 and above, to be to have what we call giving back to the community as much as possible, not for money, but for being relevant, to remain relevant amongst the population. When Dr. Christine was introducing me, she talked of my part of the activities I do with the public. I can still drive to Mbale and give back to my school where I studied more than 50 years ago, so that the school remains relevant. And then we encourage the young generation to like their schools. When I go down to the Cancer Institute, it's basically to help those who are in need, but you remain relevant to both the patient and the caregivers. So if you're in a community of the aged group and you know, okay, once in a week or once in a month, we shall collect either old clothes, you collect you go to any of these hospitals, you'll find that you'll be helping out people, and yet you'll be challenging your mind to do something on a monthly. As I say, that whenever you challenge the mind to do something, then the body must be active, because after collecting the stuff, you must be able to move to the places where you're going to deliver what you have collected. And as you move, you're exercising your body, you're exercising your mind. Many of the purposes of exercising is that personal feeling that, yes, today I have done my 1 kilometer, today I've done my 2 kilometers, today I've done my half a kilometer. But it is important that the body exercises as much as possible. What brings joy to adults? I think adults, especially of our age, the 60 and above, are always happy when they see that they can still be relevant among the youth. So as we age and as we try to exercise, it is important that we work with the young generation to inspire them and to help them start their activities much earlier than most of us, except me, who start exercising at a late age. So, in summary, we exercise for the benefit of our body, for the health of the bodies, and for especially the hearts. Well, I think as we grow older, the valves of our hearts get also, I think, weaker. So if you don't exercise, it means at one point the heart will stop working, and you are found dead at a funny age, or I mean in a funny place. Probably that is what I can talk about exercising and weight. I think we call it fighting weight. It's good to have a reasonable weight, but when you become overweight, it becomes a problem to you as an individual. I wonder whether I've made my point clear, Dr. Christina, and to the people who are listening to me.
Thank you so much, Omlongo Wasswa. I think you've been very down to earth, and that's what we need as older adults. We need to know what we can do when we are back home, and also what will help us to avoid the bills and the hospital visits and all that. Thank you so much. Before I summarize, I think I would like to ask you to be patient enough, and we get questions, comments, contributions from the audience. I think there's a lot to contribute to this session from everybody online. Dr. Philippa Makanga, are you able to handle this session, please?
Yes, thank you very much, moderator, and thank you, Mr. Wasswa Collins, for the presentation. The floor is open for Q&A. I'd encourage anyone who has a question to either put up their hand or type it in the chat. So far in the chat, we have messages thanking you for the presentation. There's Ronald who says, thank you for the wonderful presentation, Mulongo. And then Esther who says, thank you for this presentation, Mulongo. I don't see hands up, but anyone is free to unmute and ask a question if they have one.
Yes, Dr. Philippa, I've looked up in Dagu, but they just say These are
Yam.
small yams. Some of them are quite huge, but it just says Luganda word for yam. It is actually a yam, as he said, it's yellow. And we usually find it in the market and at Mikolo. Yes. The other thing is when you are a twin in Luganda, you are Omulongo, you are not Mr. That's why I'm calling Omulongo. We use Omulongo, we don't use Mr. Wasswa. For Dr. Philippa's information.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we had a hand up from, oh, it's disappeared.
Please don't share away. Let's ask and then we share experiences.
I
Yes,
have a question. I have a question.
Okay. Please
My
go
name
ahead.
is Judith. And I would
Come
like
again?
to ask, I think on behalf of a number of people, in case someone has, I'm asking on behalf of some people. I guess I'm asking on behalf of some people. In case somebody has back issues, how can one best exercise? Because being with delicate backs, you may find yourself doing things that can either increase the pain or maybe a problem in future. Can you just talk about that, please?
Can you repeat your question, please? In case
I'm saying, I'm saying that I'm asking on behalf of a number of people, that's what I believe, that in case somebody has back issues, back problems, pains, how best should somebody exercise and what kind of exercises should somebody engage in? Because you may do certain things and find yourself having more pain, or you may be postponing a problem in the future. If you could address that, I think it would be helpful also.
Okay, that's a clear question. As we grow old, many of our tissues, including the bones, especially the spine, start degenerating. There is a medical term that they use to refer to that type of condition. I think Dr. Christina will help us to say that one in the medical term. But the best thing, there are two exercises that I would recommend so that you don't continue hurting yourself or making matters worse. Number one would be to get a soft gym mat, and you lie on your back. You lift your legs upward slowly as they go towards the stomach. But when the back is flat onto a flat surface, but which is hardish, don't use soft items when you are doing those exercises, because when they are soft, it means that your body is going to curve. We need to leave our spines as straight as possible when you're doing those exercises. The other exercise, which is really, to me, the best, would have been swimming breaststroke, or what we call elementary backstroke. You lie on your back and you lift your arms as you pull the water backward and the legs opening outward, and then you cross them. Those are the two exercises I know that are very good for anybody with back problems. Is that clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Are we there?
Yes, we are there. And I think Judith has said that it was a very clear explanation of what can be done for people with back pain. Right. I'm going to ask on behalf of someone who posted in the in my inbox directly about any advice that you have in terms of exercises for people who, like you rightfully said, people like doctors who recommend exercise are the greatest culprits. They'll end up sitting a lot. And there are many other categories of people who, as part of their work end up sitting a lot. They're very sedentary. So are there exercises that they could do other than swimming, like when they're in the office? What would you recommend that you can do to keep some kind of level of activity?
Thank you very much. Number one, if you are an office person, avoid sitting for long hours. Try to do your work when you are in a standing posture. That is very important. Number two, there are chairs that we grew up seeing with the soft back seats, but those are not good seats. Use a chair which has got a straight, hard back. But when you are sitting or when you're working, you are upright. I think the category in this group that could really get problems in being upright are the medics who have got to bend as they observe their patients. But at any one point, it would be important that you stretch your body and walk straight. The more you walk when you are bent, the more you
Sorry, we are
encourage the.
losing.
Come again?
We've lost you a bit.
You've lost me?
Can you go back? Yeah, we
Can you
couldn't hear
hear me
you
now?
well. Yes, now
Am
we
I
can
clear
hear
now?
you. Yes, you
Hello?
are.
Yes,
it's
I was
us,
saying that if you work in an office where you have to sit much of the time, you should get a chair which has a hard back, not a soft back. Those soft swinging chairs are really a problem to our health. So I would recommend to use a chair with a hard back, maybe preferably wooden, but you sit when you're upright. And then for those people who, like doctors, who have to bend as they observe patients, as you are working, you should find time to stand and stretch as you work on your patient, so that you don't keep bending the spine and it remains in that curved part. The more you curve the spine, the more it gets used to being curved, and as soon as you try to put it upright, you will start feeling the pain. I think it's because we compromise the positions of the discs. But we need to walk as much as possible, even if you are in an office working.
Right. In addition to that, Ronald is asking for people in the working class who get to work very early in the morning and report very late after work, tired and exhausted and even on the weekend. Probably just to add for those people who have very long days, anything in addition to walking around in the office.
What we need to remember is that these bodies are ours, and these offices will remain there even when we're gone. So it's really up to us to create time to stretch our bodies. I can comfortably tell you that every morning I have, I think, about 12 doctors who come and exercise with us at Hotel Africana. And I've seen one rare person, that is one of the, I'm to talk about her, one of the deputy IGGs. She's always in the gym at 5:45 up to 6:45. So she creates that 1 hour to exercise her body, because she knows that at one time the body will demand that exercise. So this work should not compromise our health, because I have a feeling that before you're buried, somebody else is vying for your office. I think I'm being a little selfish, but that's the truth.
Right, you're very right on that. Yes, we need to reorganize our priorities in a way and find time for our bodies. You're right on that. So I'll go on to ask. Nancy is giving some advice that and also asking a question. She says, I don't have groups to walk with, but I play music and walk to the rhythm. Is that okay? And then there's another question about how can you help someone who can't swim but wants to exercise in water?
who can't swim and you want to
Yes, but
exercise in
want
water.
to exercise in water.
Okay, what was the first question? I'll come back to the swimming one later on.
Okay, the first one is whether it's okay to listen to music and walk to the rhythm as you exercise in case you don't have a group of people to exercise with.
Well, if you can dance alone to the music, it is really okay. Though these days I've seen many people who dance to the music. I think they call it Zumba. It's a good way of exercising, but it's also a commitment that you have to create at least an hour and a half or so to be to dance. I don't know how possible it is for you to dance when you are alone. For example, you put on the music at home and you start dancing. I think people will think that you are a little insane. But when you are together with many people, I think it makes much more sense. Now, when it comes to somebody who wants to exercise in water, first and foremost, there's what we call water phobia. So for somebody to exercise in water when they can't swim, they must first overcome the water phobia, because as you walk in water, the water compromises your stability on the ground. So you need to be able to walk after overcoming the water phobia. Water itself is a therapy in all our lives, but it takes time for people to get used to staying in water and be stable. Because if you walked, for example, in a small pool of what we call the kids' pool, you won't be able to exercise. You need to exercise in the water which is at least about high above your waist, so that you can feel the pool of the water as you exercise. Otherwise, for people who know how to swim and you are overweight, the best thing to do in water is to run in the deep end. You stand upright and run as if you are on the road, because then your body, your feet will not be stepping down, but you'll be running in the water. Is that a bit helpful?
Very scary.
That's, yes, I was going
Scary.
to say it's very interesting. Running
Very
in the deep
scary.
end. That one is
Yes,
a
it
new one.
happened. Unfortunately, I didn't prepare any clips, but I think I may have to share some clips and share them with Dr. Christine, and then she'll share with them with you, especially for those exercises I've talked about. For example, the one of lying on the back, and you stretch your legs. Then the water running, I can also get a clip on that one, and then you look at it and you see it is real. People do it to make sure that instead of swimming on your stomach, somebody stands upright and they run in water. It works a lot on people who are overweight.
Wow. Okay. It's nice to learn something new. I'll let Rose Apondi unmute and ask her question, followed by Namazi, and then we'll go back to the chat. Rose, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to listen into this session. And thank you very much, my senior OB, judge, coach, and patron. First, I would like to acknowledge that the experience you have given is actually the life, and you're probably the oldest young person that I know. And I just to talk about exercise with music. I particularly do that, and I don't feel very mad. There are many exercises that are 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And as long as you have internet, you actually can do them, and they are effective, and you can choose them according to your age. I tried swimming, and it was very difficult for me, much as I know that there are many things I dare to do, and I still keep it as one of my things to learn as I grow old. So my question to you is, can you give an experience of how you have taught people who are older, and just to show it is possible for an older person to learn how to swim? Can you give examples of any old people and what ages they are and how successful they have been at learning how to swim. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosa Pondi. For the benefit of the rest of the audience, I was in Naumale High School before Rosa Pondi was born, but she's my OG anyway, and she's the current president of the alumni. I am glad that you are listening in. Number one, I'll start with that music on the internet. As I said, it is okay to do it when you're alone, but it gives more satisfaction when you have somebody you are dancing with, so that you can gauge your strokes, you can gauge the time, and these lone activities can be a very big problem. It's good to do it with somebody, but it's okay if you can listen to the music and dance alone, especially if you have got the internet and the instructions. Now, when it comes to swimming, you're not alone. Our host on this group, Dr. Christine, tried, and she gave me excuses, which I think I'll never forgive her on that one, because I'm sure she by now should be swimming very well. But learning swimming is not about the age. It's about the mind of the person. I remember when I was training kids at a facility which belongs to the late Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the late Archbishop Nkoyoyo, he came and stood and asked me whether he could learn swimming, but his challenge was learning with young people. So I offered him, and I said, well, you are the Archbishop, you are my prelate, you are the owner of the facility. I'll offer 30 minutes every day for 1 month and see if we can do it. And of course, his next challenge was the dress code. So I told him to get our 4 old khaki shorts. And I can assure you that that was after the Archbishop had retired as that position of being the Archbishop. But within a month, the Archbishop was swimming. He could swim at least 3-4 laps over the big pool. That is one person. The other person, I think, is alive, but I don't know where she is now. There's a lady called Sarah Mbowa. She started training at 66. By the time she stopped coming to my classes at 71, Sarah could swim 1 kilometer. And for your information, 1 kilometer on water is equivalent to 7 kilometers on the road. So I think there's no age limit on learning how to swim. The things that normally stop people from going into water are usually thinking that, oh, the water is cold, oh, how will I dress? The dress code is really up to you, but the mind, once the mind says, yes, I'll swim, as long as the limbs can still move, I believe that anybody can swim. Is that okay with the Rosa Pondi?
Yes, Patron,
And
thank
the rest of the group.
Before I die.
All right. All right. Christine Namazi, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Christine Namazi.
Yes, thank you very much, Mlongo Wasswa. Christine Namazi, Mama Kakala Moja boy. You must be knowing me. Yes, we really appreciate
The name is very familiar.
Yes, we really appreciate the way you have guided us. Mine is also related to the previous person who asked. I wanted to get to know, of course, you talked about the mind. The mind is the key to everything. But
Yes.
now my question is, when we are, you've grown and of course, how do I dress and stuff like that? Do you have maybe swimming pools that you carry out your teachings and your tutoring in, especially if they are not in Kampala? Take an example, I stay in Entebbe. Do you have maybe I stay in Entebbe. Like a swimming pool where I can be able to access you and you teach me. If I can't necessarily come to Africana, where can I find you?
Really, the challenge of lawn swimming is that it becomes quite expensive to the trainer and to the student, because it involves, if I'm going to drive to Entebbe, you're also going to drive. We are paying for the pool, you're paying for my fuel. That wouldn't be, that's the biggest challenge. But if you are at least 4, 5, and then you can meet the cost of my coming to Entebbe, I think there's no problem with that. It will be okay. I have a class in Entebbe during the term. I have classes on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday. But they are for a school which sends about 20 kids at the pool. So if the facility is there and there are a number of people who are willing to do it, then you can create time and help out, teach people how to swim. I am a very patient trainer, and I don't want to have anybody starting my lesson and they give up. That's why I still talk about Dr. Christine. I don't know, she used to tell me, oh, my heart is pumping. But Christine, the heart has to pump when you're doing that thing the first time. But those are normal things. Some people have got that phobia. So once you overcome the phobia, then, and you've got the good numbers, it becomes easy for you for us to come and help you learn swimming.
Thank you very much.
By the way,
Right.
I would like to add that when it comes to swimming,
Dr. Philippa, are
I
you there?
trained in para-training. Those people with the bodily problems, if people have no legs, they have no arms, the best exercise they can do is swimming. Yes, somebody was asking.
Yes, there's a question for you to talk about people between 35 to 50 and in terms of exercise, to give some more insight for those people in that age range. Since this is a group for purposeful aging, we also encourage people below 60 to grow with intention so that they're healthier as they age. So if you can speak up a little about that, it would be nice. The second question is, would you categorize house chores such as washing clothes as activities that challenge the mind? We'll take those two and then we'll take a question from house chores such as washing clothes. Would you categorize them as activities that challenge the mind?
Oh, okay. I'll start with the you said the age category. For the age of 35 to I think 45, they can exercise in the gym if they have proper instructors. I have seen many people going to the gym, and the instructors really lack the knowledge of what to tell their people. Many gyms are there to make money. You find a tall person riding a stationary bike with a bent back for 30 minutes. I don't think now you're exercising the legs, but you're damaging the spine. So it is okay for people to go into the gym and exercise, but they must have properly trained instructors who give proper instructions of how to use the machines in the gym. But that one has now become a very common way of people going for exercise, especially people who are in the corporate world. Companies pay for their staff to go and exercise. But after paying for that exercise, they don't get the proper people who are trained to do that proper training of people in the gym. Because even just the way you squat matters, the way you get up matters. And now this one comes to the person who was asking about washing clothes. Washing clothes is good. Number one, for hygiene. Number two, you exercise the muscles of your arms. But then you will have left the rest of the body doing nothing. Because as we grow old, you're not bent to wash. You have to sit somewhere with a straight body and then wash. And the only part of the body that you are now engaging are the hands and probably the mind that shows you that the clothes are now clean. But you will have left the rest of the body, the lower parts, called the torso. The torso, the legs are not active because you are seated. So you are partially exercising. Are we together?
Yes, we are. Sorry, I had trouble unmuting there. I'll get Juliet, please don't get tired of putting your hand up. There are a few questions in the chat before we get to you. There's a question about specific diet with for people with hereditary joint issues. But I'd also encourage Deborah to keep that question for our next session, which will be on arthritis next month. We can go more into that detail. And I think you've answered her other question.
Nutrition.
Yes, her other question was about learning to swim after 40, which you have talked about. Can you talk about the benefit of strength training?
The benefits of?
Strength training.
Strength.
Yes.
That one is a hard one. I've seen of recent people lifting items as if they are going to a heavyweight lifting competition. But personally, I wouldn't recommend that strength building. I don't know why do we have to that strength if you're not going to go into that type of activity. People, it's like weightlifting, and you know that strength. You may be strengthening your muscles, but how about the heart? The heart may not be responsive to that type of strength exercise. I'm not very sure. I don't have a clear answer to that one, but I'm very mindful of our hearts as we grow older, because you really don't need that strength at 60. You just need your body to be flexible.
Right. There's two interesting questions. One is, thank you for the very insightful question. I'm keen to hear on how to overcome the psychological warfare that some of us struggle with, thinking of our aging and the thinking that I am in such bad shape physically. Can you talk more about that? Like the struggle that we have in the mind with our aging and thinking we are so out of shape, and then we may want to give up.
One thing is, I believe in the Gaza High School motto in many things. That is, never give up.
Oh yeah.
Never give up. And then, of course, my high school motto of onwards and upwards. When you give up on your life, definitely you'll go with it. You have to believe that every day you're going to live. So you work towards that goal of living every day, even if you're going to die tomorrow. So whatever we do, we must do it like we're going to live forever, but we do it as fast as possible. So when your mind gives up on, and you say, okay, now I'm aged, I'm gone, I can assure you, you definitely will grow old, you'll age, and you'll start disappearing from the vicinity. So I wouldn't advise anybody to accept to be overcome by the mind to say that, yes, I'm old. Of course, there are certain activities that we don't do when you're old. If I may be a little more blunt, you find a 70-year-old man thinking that he can marry a 30-year or a 28-year, you are looking for trouble. You're looking for trouble. I don't know if ladies do it, but I've heard of recent that even ladies of 60 want to get young boys. The two minds are totally different. Our level of activity is different. So that is a different style of living. But when you are doing exercise, we do it according to our age so that we continue having flexible bodies and flexible minds.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Mulongo. There's an encouragement in the group from Rachel. She's saying walking groups do not have to meet physically. Do not have to meet physically. You can form a WhatsApp group and use a walking app to track each other's kilometers. For example, Samsung Health, Adidas, Strava, and you set a target of the kilometers and track that daily. That could work for people who cannot meet physically. I think it's a nice one, Rachel. Thank you very much. There's a question about
just a second.
you.
Just a second.
Yes.
Just to add on to that one. Yes, it's okay to walk like that, but it is very, very advisable to walk with people, especially when you are of advanced age. You know, our bodies are in such a manner that you can get a cramp in the muscles, and you're walking alone. Then what next? Who helps you if you're walking alone using the internet? So we need to walk at least minimum 2-3 people. It's okay to walk alone, but it's best to walk in groups, because then you can help each other.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, that's the next one.
Right. Yes. What is your view about old age and sauna? Most people prefer to go and burn a bit than sweat while walking.
I think, to me, for an old age person to go into sauna, that is total laziness. Even for the young ones, if you want to sweat it out with the exercise. Don't go and burn yourself in something, a locked up item, and it's burning to a temperature you don't understand. And if you suffocate there, I mean, of course they'll blame the sauna, but you'll have gone. I prefer sweating in an open area, because even if you are 3 people, 4 people in the sauna, and then a problem comes, what will happen to the people you are with in the sauna? They'll all run out because you'll have lost your breath, and everybody will be scampering. And yet, if you have been walking with people on the road and you fall down, your workmates will come out to help you.
Right. That's right. For advanced age, it's really encouraging to walk in a group. There are a few questions about arthritis, which I'm going to leave out because our next session next month at the end of May is focusing on that. So I will leave those. Mulongo, please tell us about Malta Swim Club. There's a question on where you can, where it is.
Malta Swim Club.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please go on.
Malta Swim Club was formed in 2008. I started with adult people at Fairway Hotel, and it was from that adult group that I noticed that many people are not exposed to swimming as adults in this country, which is, whereas swimming in all other Western countries is a common phenomenon. Gradually, I started training children of Sir Aprokagwa schools, because among the very first swimmers I had as adults was the late Haji Sewava, who was the founder of Sir Aprokagwa schools. And I started training the children at different stations. As we grew in numbers, I noticed that the parents were interested in having their children to do more swimming. So that is how I formed, with 4 other people, Malta Swim Club. Currently, we are training at two places. Actually, right now I'm at one of the stations. For adults, we train at Hotel Africana. That's a class for strictly adults, 26 and above. Anybody below that is a child. And in my way of training, I don't train children with their parents. So all adults train at Africana. from 6 o'clock in the morning up to 9. After that, people must go and work. Then for children, we have a session on every Saturday at Waves Fitness Hub, where I am stayed right now. That is during the term. Then during the holidays, we have 4 sessions in every week, running on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 9:30 a.m. up to 11:30 a.m. That is the holiday program. So our holiday program will be beginning on Wednesday this coming week for the children. But for the adults, it is non-stop. We swim throughout the year. Actually, next weekend we have a masters competition where clubs come together and compete amongst the elderly according to their age groups. So if you have time, you can.
We lost you. Hello, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you, but he's dropped off.
I think we've lost him, yes. I'll encourage Flavia to look into the chat. There's a response to her question. It's very individual. Her problem is very individual. So I think the response from Durlen, who's a doctor, will be useful for her. And we won't read that out. Let's give Longo some time to get back on. In the meantime, if there's anyone who wants to open and their mic and give a contribution, you're welcome to do that.
Dr. Christine, this is Betty Bianyima. I saw this Zoom message, if I may call it that, rather late. So I've joined really late, but I just wanted to thank you so much for availing us this platform where we can learn about aging gracefully, because you never get to try it out. It just happens. And there's very little information out there. In terms of real people, you can read and Google, whatever, but to have a community of people to walk life with at this age is nice. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that encouragement. Indeed, it is a pleasure to be contributing in some way to making your lives better as we age.
Sorry, you're Philippa.
Yes. It looks like we have trouble finding Mulongo. Let's give him a few more minutes.
And he's trying to log on again.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I could hand back to you. In the meantime, we have exhausted the questions in the chat.
May I throw in a word, Philippa?
Yes, Durlen, please go ahead.
I think Mulongo emphasized the need for walking and for swimming, which is very good. But the challenge I always find is that swimming is you've got to move to a pool, you've got to have a pool. You know, and sometimes you're dealing with your mind in terms of trying to get active, and you want to minimize any obstacles that might, make it even more difficult for you to engage in an activity. I think walking is very good, and we normally encourage anybody who can do anything more than walking to go to their capacity. Yes, we do have to appreciate that people might be having arthritis problems, the risk of osteoporosis. But then again, some of these conditions, especially with arthritis, it tends to get worse when you become inactive. So the only way you're caught between a rock and a hard place, If you're not active, you get weaker, the joints get more painful. But if you're more active, and that means engaging in things like weight-bearing exercise, as I said, walking, if you can run, I still encourage people to run. I've seen an 80-year-old recently here who has done a marathon, and he's done, so you find I had a 90-year-old lady I saw. For her, she didn't go anywhere. She would either ride or walk to wherever she went. And when she can run, she does run. It all depends on your physical ability. And so as long as you've not gone beyond and above what you should do, if you're willing to, if you want to get in something very demanding, I think a health check would be good to ensure that you have the capacity. Things like Tai Chi have been demonstrated to have very good, both strength training, mind therapeutic, not therapeutic, but more, as I said, cognitively enhancing. And so you find that you don't only, can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Yeah, so I think amongst other things, yes, Tai Chi, you might need a group, but as has already been mentioned, many of these things are available on YouTube if you do have access to internet. And so you can engage in that. Dancing is very good. Again, dancing is very cognitively enhancing, and you don't have to be in a group. You can just do it. I find it very helpful personally. You just dance to the music you love. You can try all the moves that you want. Nobody's going to be laughing at you when you're doing a funny movement. You can use a mirror to look at how you're moving and just continue to do that. That will open up your mind. It will engage those muscles that you don't tend to normally engage, and it actually can get your heart going if you have really done a good dance, because a song might go for 5 minutes. If you dance to 6 songs, or you dance to that song 6 times, you'll easily run through 30 minutes very well and actively get your heart engaged. I think the other thing to consider when you're doing exercise, especially when we get older, is that we have to incorporate the aspect of strength, because the frailty comes as a result of us not using our muscles, sitting around. So, as we naturally age, physiologically, our bodies just tend to lose, our muscles just begin to go down. It's better to
within the
have, it's better to
Please
engage.
go on, Durlen.
It's better to engage in activities that will challenge your heart aerobically,
Let me see if I can
strengthen you.
get back. I've been trying. I can hear the program running. Program within.
Yes, sir.
Durlen, please. Yes, you can just summarize. I think
Yeah,
Mulongo
so
is back.
basically, I think you have to engage in those things, something that will improve your balance, something that will improve your strength, and something that will aerobically challenge you and get your heart going, so that at least you can keep yourself strong. If you can't really engage in activity, you feel you're going past the stage where you can exercise, get a group of people in a similar group, and they will help you, because at least you can compare pages, ideas, and then you get encouraged that way, rather than going to a big group where it looks like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. I'll stop there for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'll hand over back to the moderator since we have no more questions. Oh,
Excuse
up.
me. Excuse me.
Yes,
Hello.
please. Yes,
Yes,
Hello?
I had a question. I have
Yes.
my mom who is elderly, and she has been struggling a lot with, like, she says she has electricity in her foot. Sometimes a toe is really hurting so bad. Sometimes it's a finger, sometimes it's one side. We've tried to have her go to physiotherapy. She's had some painkillers. And what is the best exercise or something that she can do so that she can be helped in this situation? Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, you can go on.
That one is beyond, I think, just the exercise. Usually what brings the numbness, I think, comes from the discs, I think, pressing the nerves. I'm a victim of some of those things, but because I had an accident. But of recent, about 3-4 months back, I had started feeling numbness in my left hand. I first felt like I had something moving in my head on the left side along the shoulder. And when I consulted I was told that it is the disc from around the neck. And I was advised to buy what they call there's a pillow which you use to sleep on when you're facing up. It's called a cervical pillow. So I totally think that the numbness comes from those discs having the wrong contact with the body. It's really a nervous problem.
So where could we get that kind of pillow? Where could we buy it from? Thank you very much, sir.
On which part is the numbness? From the left-hand side going down to the legs?
Now that I'm not with her, I think it's the right. I'm not so sure right now. So I would ask probably.
But if you go to First Pharmacy, they have that pillow that is used for the neck, and they have another gadget which is used for the lower back to help position the discs properly. But I am a bit scared about people going for physiotherapy when the person doing it doesn't know exactly where the problem is. And yet if you had it naturally like that with that type of pillow, then it goes on adjusting itself until it has been repositioned.
Oh, okay.
That's that is my opinion, really.
Thank you
Suggest something. I would suggest that you have her checked up so that we can find out what the problem is, what the cause of the pain is. And if you saw a doctor who could check and make sure that there's no nerve compression or, at least then she can get advice. And in that case, a physiotherapist would be very helpful in giving you the right positions to exercise the body and therefore avoid further injury, and also put you on a graded program, which might be helpful.
She's actually been checked, and it's a nervous problem. So, and she has seen several doctors, but yeah, we'll continue.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And
apparently I lost my video.
That's okay. We are winding up. I would just like to, someone has asked about joining the sessions, and I've posted in the chat the YouTube channels where you can look at previous sessions that we have had, and also our email address in case you need to get in touch with us for next session. Also, if you want us to get in touch with you with the recording, please post your email in the chat so that we can send you the recording via email. Right, I'll hand back to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much, Dr. Philippa, for the Q&A, and all of you for contributing in various ways. Omlongo Wasswa, Purposeful Aging is extremely excited and very, very grateful for the session this morning. Your experience, your wisdom, your guidance has been very, very relevant to many of us and to our loved ones back home. We are sorry about the glitch, but that happens all the time. I just wanted to summarize this session that regular physical activity is essential in maintaining health and vitality at any age, particularly for individuals above 60. We should exercise fosters physical, mental, and emotional well-being, empowering older adults to age gracefully and independently. Successful fitness plans prioritize moderation and consistency. Tailored routines incorporating aerobics, strength, and flexibility and balance exercise are recommended for optimal health. Embracing exercise is a necessity, not an option. Allows older adults to enjoy a higher quality of life and views aging as an opportunity for growth and vitality. I think all these points have been well brought out through the talk we've had. Any of you who wants extra resources we've had about diet, about exercise for old people, we've gone through all this. And fortunately, the exercise session was physical. We met and went through it. You can find all these recordings on the YouTube channel, which has been given in the chat box. And you can also add your email and your telephone and everything so that we can always reach you easily before the sessions. And as it has already been said, we are going to link this session with arthritis, which will be coming at the end of May, which is, May, the last Saturday in May, which will be on the 24th, 31st May. We shall be talking about arthritis, and if you've attended this session, it will come in very nicely with the arthritis, as you've seen already. I want to once again thank everybody who has honored us by your presence this morning, and I would like all of us to give a big clap to our presenter today, Omlongo Wasswa Matovu. Thank you so much. And I hope many of you are going to join different clubs, Malta, Wave, and others near you. And for those who cannot swim, you can walk, be on the road, be on the in the dancing clubs. There are various clubs around town. If you can't join this, join your own club on the internet. Thank you so much, all of you. I think we have had a good session on managing our weight and exercise. Thank you so much. See you next month. Thank you, Mlongo Wasswa, for the session.